welcome back to RC Icons. So in this video, a pile of stuff that kind of came in while I was in Australia. So I was in Australia, I think like 19 days, maybe 20 days I was away, and this is all kind of stuff that either I bought while I was in Australia and it got delivered, or pre-ordered a while back and happened to come in while I was gone. So I figured I would make a video just kind of showing this stuff. There's some pretty rare parts, what I think is a rare body, obviously a kit, and then a couple of donations. Like I know there's a package here from Chris Watson. I believe he sent me a motor. So yeah, I figured I would just kind of, if I was going to open all this stuff, I would show you guys what came in, because you're going to see some of it, and then obviously the kit as well. So let me bring the camera over. I'll get the screen up real quick and we'll dive in, because there is, I don't know, probably 8 or 9 packages here that we got to get through. So yeah, let me get the camera over. Well, I'm going to start with this one, which is already open. So this is actually something I bought like the last day I was in Australia, and it came in almost immediately. And it's a direct result of the bash. So I had showed in some of my Australia videos Ant's Dandy Dash that he had running in the Jurassic series. And then Lou had a Dandy Dash / Brat that he had been working on, and it was kind of a hybrid. And I have, so in the cabinet right here, I have a Dandy Dash and a Super Sprint. The Dandy Dash was the base model for Nico as far as their hobby grade stuff, and then the Super Sprint was their next level up, and then the Brat was the all singing, all dancing version. So this parts lot came up for a Super Sprint, which is like, so if the Brat's 2 kits, there's a conversion kit where you can take a Super Sprint like this and convert it into a Brat, and then there's a second kit. If you didn't have a Super Sprint, you could use the second kit along with the first kit and build a Brat basically from scratch. So this came up as just a Super Sprint parts lot. And being the fact that I have a Dandy Dash and Super Sprint, I figured it was worth having it. So it's a chassis. It's Delrin upper and lower arms. They're not the original arms that are plastic. So this is an original arm, and you can see that it's shiny. I can't tell if I'm in frame or not, but you can kind of see that that is shiny. Now there is a company out there, I forget the name of it, and I actually just placed an order for white arms, but they're making rear uprights, front uprights, arms, uppers and lowers. They're making a bunch of the Brat parts now in Delrin, and that's what these are. Either that or these are 3D printed from somebody. But so these are extra arms, uppers and lowers. That is a rear upright. Same with this. Then you've got what I believe to be front lowers. There's a broken arm there. So a lot of these parts work with both or all 3 models, but the biggest thing, another part of the chassis here, here's some of the bell cranks for the Super Sprint. But the one thing that all of the models share, Super Sprint, oil-filled shocks, and then mine's got the upgraded alloy shocks. But finding some of these parts is extremely hard, short of like buying an entire car. So really what I was after, front and rear gearboxes and a belt. But really what I was after were these parts. So when Lou went to run his Dandy Dash / Super Sprint, he was worried that he chewed up a gear. And gear sets are not easy to find. Like, you could take an original gear set and potentially 3D print it, but this lot came up for 99 bucks, and I figured for 99 bucks to have all these spare parts, including differentials, which are shared throughout the Brat and the Super Sprint, was absolutely huge. Now, actually, I do have out drives. I didn't think I did. But I do have out drives. So that's an axle. This is an out drive. This is an out drive. Just trying to see because I've never taken one apart. That might be a fixed. It looks like it's needle bearings inside. So like that's a set of out drives there, right? So to have stuff like this is absolutely crucial for spare parts. Yeah, that's a diff. Right, so that's, I can't tell if that's a front or rear or if it's shared. But to have diffs like this, to have counter gears, center diffs, and that would be a belt, rear belt. So that might be part of the rear diff setup. To have those kind of parts, dog bones, more out drives, for $100 for me was absolutely worth it. There's a spare steering arm, steering knuckle, whatever, front upright. But there's another full set of uprights. There. So obviously with having a spare car and then having extra uprights and yeah, that might be a one-way. But to have some of these parts, if I plan on running a car, to me made sense for $100. So yeah, that's what this is. It's basically just a Super Sprint parts lot, but it gave me a bunch of extra parts essentially for my Brat as well as the Super Sprint that I have. So that's what that is. Spare parts. Came with some weird servo, I don't even know. Oh, it's a Nico servo. So that might be cool to put in as a Shelf Queen servo. I do have Nico motors in my original Super Sprint and Dandy Dash as well. But yeah, that was something I saw come up for $99. I think a guy wanted more, and I put an offer in at $99 and won it. So I was like, yeah, whatever, that's cool. I believe this one was from Chris Watson, if I remember right. This should be a motor. Right before I left, I had sent a bunch of stuff out, shirts and stuff, to like Paul Walker and Chris Watson and people that were always donating to me. I kind of sent out some swag before I left, and some stuff got sent back to me, which is kind of how it goes. So there's a ESC, Orion ESC. That's pretty sweet. That's a brushless ESC. I can get it out here. It says Orion Vortex. Experience 2. Non-censored. Yeah, non-censored Orion ESC. Looks brand new. Beautiful ESC. And then it looks like it's a Vortex motor. Wow. That's insane. Brand new. Orion Experience 19 turn. Carbon fiber. Looks gorgeous. So I can't remember if Chris sent this to me for the plasma. He may have sent this to me for the plasma because the plasma is all carbon. Now, I'm not sure if I'll put this in the plasma or not. I may put it in the plasma. The only reason I would say that I wouldn't put it in the plasma is, well, I mean, even if I was going to run it, I have a full Kyosho brushless setup that I could put in the Plasma, but at the same time that brushless setup could be put in the Phantom, 60th anniversary Phantom. Gold motor, the 240S brushless speed control. That could all go in my 60th Phantom. I don't plan on running that car, so it would really just be for show. Whereas the Plasma, I do plan on running. With the driveway being done now. For those of you that don't know, before I left for Australia, I was extremely busy getting a new garage foundation in at the house here, as well as repaving the driveway. And the driveway is done now, and it's absolutely enormous. And I made it enormous for a couple of reasons. I wanted a nice big area where I can set up an on-road track. So that's part of it. But the other part of it is we have a fair amount of people that live in the house and have vehicles. So we have to park whatever, like 5 cars in our driveway at any given moment. And I'm tired of moving cars around for other people to get out. So when I paved the driveway, I made it exceptionally big so that there's parking spaces for everybody who's got vehicles. My parents, myself, my wife, and then we have an in-law that we have tenants that stay in. So thank you, Chris, for that. That's awesome. I think I actually will put that in the Plasma, and that's actually the first car that's getting built. So yeah, it's a carbon 19 turn. So that's going to be perfect for that car, actually. First car getting built. I haven't built a car. The RC10 was the last car I built. I think I built 2 cars in a year. And I've got all these kits to do, so I'm going to start actually getting some cars done. But the Plasma is the first one I'm building, and then I'm building the Opel Calibra DTM from Kyosho. That's the second one that's getting built, and Caleb is doing the F104 Pro 2. So we have some cars getting built, on-road cars right now. I'm going to get into buggies this winter and some trucks, but first couple cars that are getting built are on-road. So this one, I forget what this was. This is a body I bought. Oh, this is from Penguin. Alright, so this was, I'll put a picture up. So I came across this body set on a Top Force while I was in Australia, and I absolutely loved it because I've never seen the body before, and I didn't realize that it would fit a Top Force, and it actually fit it perfect. Now, it does have an under tray. I'm not sure if this under tray fits the Top Force chassis, but I know the body fits over the original Top Force chassis without any issues. And then there's a gear cover in there as well. So this actually was made, it's the Tomcat body, and I forget what car it was made for. It's from Penguin. Penguin does it, but this was like a Parma body that was done back in the day. I forget what car it was for. It may have been like the Pro Cat or something, but it's called the Tomcat body. And I saw it done in purple. Again, I'm going to put the picture up on the Top Force, and I was absolutely blown away. Just because it was a different looking body on the Top Force. Now, I know Race Tech did a body back in the day for the DFO ones, and that body I think looks great as well. It's very vintage looking, very squared off, almost like a Optima mid chassis, body. I have a Race Tech body from Penguin already for one of my custom Top Forces in the future, but when I saw this one done in purple, I absolutely fell in love with it. Literally figured out, I asked the owner, he's the subscriber, I'm sorry, I forget your name, I forget which one it was, may have been Rob, but I'm not sure. But I asked immediately what body it was. He told me, and I ordered it right there while we were doing the concourse. So literally didn't even get through the concourse, and I had already ordered the body. And it was, of course, it was here waiting for me when I got home. So yeah, super looking forward to, you guys know the Top Force is my favorite Tamiya car. So to have that is to have different style bodies on some of my Top Forces is going to be huge. These are just body mount extensions Caleb needed for a project. Forgot those were even in there. He's over here working on his 104 now. So I will pass those off to him. This one, I cut all the labels off, like shipping labels, so I can't remember what's what at this point. I just know it was stuff that came in while I was gone. Oh, this is a Echo motor. So you guys saw in one of my Wednesday roundups, I had put this motor in my, I think my RB5, and the thing ripped. Like, was nice and really fast. Should be a 23 turn. It's Atlas, not Echo. So this one's a 17 turn Atlas XL. That motor's gonna rip. I know it is. Just because of the other one that I put in. The other one may have been a 17. I thought it was a 23 modified. I think the other one was meant for on-road though, because it was showing like a TRF 414 and the setup guide and everything else. Sorry for the noise. But I love the motor so much that I found this one and I pulled the trigger on it. It looks great in purple. So, I don't know, maybe it'll go in a purple painted car. We'll see. So, in my Australia videos, you saw that my double X4 got a ton of use. Well, this came up. Original Losi double X4 body. 75 bucks. Only cost $18.99 back in the day. But yeah, I paid $17 for this. For an original body, I think that's a good deal. If you were to buy that from TBG, you'd probably pay 40 bucks. Penguin, you might pay 30 bucks. Plus shipping. You know, by the time you get it home, you're going to be 40 to 50 anyways. So this was free shipping, $75. For the extra $25 to have an original body, for me, was worth it. And then this one, they call it high heat body, I think is what they call it. Where it's got it's basically the world's body, where it's got the little cutout that you can cut out to let air in to cool the motor. There's a little vent right here, and the motor sits literally right there in the car. So yeah, that's for when it's time to put a new body shell on the car. It may get a re-re body until the time the car gets actually retired, and then that body goes on. But either way, I thought it was a good deal for the money. And then obviously we've got an Associated box here. So Associated, I'm kind of had enough, to be completely honest. So even as a collector and not someone that's just buying this stuff for content. So my channel might be a little bit different in the sense that I don't buy this stuff just for content, right? I'm not buying it to make a video to necessarily show you guys the newest and greatest thing. I never rush a video for something that's new and just released. My channel really isn't that kind of channel, which I'm not trying to be offensive to channels that are trying to get out the newest and best thing just to get views. There's nothing wrong with that. It's fine. That's a strategy that those particular channels will use to try to generate the most views they can, because quite frankly, it's probably they're trying to make as much money as they can to be able to produce content. Now, I'm not naive in the fact that YouTube is not a moneymaker for people. People that are doing YouTube full time are not making enough money off of YouTube to even support the channel, never mind generate a paycheck. That's why they do raffles. That's why they have Patreons. They have to get money in however they can to keep the channel going, because they are constantly buying kits, the newest and best thing to show us all, and I'm grateful for that. But if they're also trying to pay a mortgage, a car payment, insurance, and everything else that goes on in their life, like I have a company, I go to work, that's how I make my money, it's how I make my living, it's how I buy the stuff that you see on the channel. My channel is more of a documentary of what I do in the hobby and to showcase my collection. Now, my collection is my collection. I'm not buying this stuff to make content and then selling it. It's not what I do. Nothing against channels that do that. If they buy stuff, show it on their channel, and have to sell it to be able to buy more stuff to make content, then that's great that they're able to bring us that entertainment value for free. We don't pay for it, and I appreciate the fact that they go through all of those efforts to be able to bring that enjoyment to us for nothing. So for those of you that see raffles going on, that see Patreons or people asking for, buy me a coffee or whatever, you have to understand, even if you have 100,000 subscribers, 100,000 subscribers, you might at that point be making $1,000 a week on YouTube revenue. Might. Now, that person is bringing in $1,000 a week with YouTube. They're probably spending almost half of that at least making content, right? So they're not supporting anything on that. They aren't. So for those of you that think like people that have 10,000 subs are making millions of dollars, it's just not the case. So, not to be on a rant, it is what it is. We do this because we love it, not necessarily because we're trying to make it a job. Getting back to and digressing to Associated. This is a car that I bought because I'm a collector and I wanted the car. Originally, I didn't want the car, to be quite frank. I had kind of hit my tipping point with the RC10T. I'm glad that there's still 40th anniversary kits available for people to buy, and I'm glad that there's still RC10T kits available for people to buy, because at the beginning when they started releasing those and they weren't necessarily shipping to the UK in a timely fashion and or anywhere else around the world, people were feeling like they were getting left out. Now, I am not in the UK. I know these are available in Australia. They were all around the bash, meaning the 40th Gold Pan and the RC10T are available all over the US still, all over Australia still, and I would have to assume at this point all over the UK. Maybe not so much the UK, but I would have to assume 4 months later they're available in the UK. Now, the 40th kit, they were only doing whatever, 9,999, but they're still available everywhere. So apparently the demand wasn't as high as they expected, because they are still available. I can pick one up at my local hobby shop for regular retail US $369 or $380, just like I did 4 months ago. Same with the RC10T. Now, the Jam & J came out, and I was like, nope, I'm done. They had already released the first YZ10, and I'm like, this is crazy. They've released 7 cars in 7 months, and it's just not going to stop. And now it's not about collecting anymore. It's just about whether or not you want a car. It would be no different than going out and buying a Tamiya Super Sabre at this point. Riri kit, it's just another Riri, right? It's not, and I don't necessarily buy Riri kits. I'm trying to buy A, collectible kits, and then B, original kits. Because of the collection. So I saw a video on it, and I saw the black wheels, honestly, the black front wheels with the different tires, and then I saw the Jam & J chassis, and that was it. I had to have it. So I did buy this one. Now, I have not bought in the DS, and now, fast forward, this was ordered months and months ago. Fast forward, now we know we're getting the green pan car. We know we're getting the graphite. And we know we are getting the, what's the other one? I'm drawing a blank now. Oh, the Championship Edition car. So there's 3 more. On top of that, they're releasing the YZ10 Blue Edition, which is the same as the YZ10 they just released with a different decal sheet. As far as the 40th anniversary, I'm done. Like, I bought in the CC, I bought the 6.4 clear, the only one in the world that got sold to me for some stupid reason. I do love the car. I'm looking at it now, and I think it's a gorgeous looking car, but as a collector's piece, it's just not a collector's piece, and you can't run it because it's going to break. So, whatever. But for an anniversary, right, so it's, we've got 27 cars at this point celebrating the 40th anniversary of the RC10 and 60 years of Associated. Well, that's it. I'm tapping out after this one. I'm not buying the championship edition. I'm not buying the Irish green one to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. And I'm not buying the graphite. I have an original TQ graphite, the Horizon Hobby version, and I have an original regular graphite in parts that needs to get built up. Now, those are the ones that will get built and restored and put in my collection. I'm not buying them to celebrate the anniversary anymore. I've had enough. A lot, like other people, I've just had enough. I am it the same way with the Kyosho cars. I'm not buying the new Plasma. I'm not buying I may buy the 87 Ultima. Not so much because it's green and to match the mid that I bought, but because it's really the closest Ultima that they're releasing that's even close to like the Ultima Pro. So whether it's the Ultima Pro or the Pro XL, to have that true double deck chassis would be the only reason why I might buy the 87 Ultima, although when it comes out, the price may sway me otherwise. I don't know that I would buy it just because it's an quote unquote an anniversary kit like I did the first 360th kits. It's just getting to be too much. With all the cars coming out, you've got the 91 Works coming out. It's like every other day there's a manufacturer releasing some kind of a re-re. And there's only so much money to go around. I would rather hold my funds for original cars like another AYK Boost or a Kyosho Laser ZXS than buy another $2,000 in re-res that are supposed to be commemorative that really aren't commemorative. So I'm cutting the seals on this. I know you can just peel the seal up and put it back down, but this is never going to be worth money as far as a collectible. I really don't see it happening. I'm not sure if the car will get built yet. I do love the car, but I'm not sure if I'll build it. I still have so many other IC10s to build. But for this one, for me, what did it was the original front tires. So this tire here with this black rim is what did it for me, and then the chassis did it for me. So they have the Jam and J signature on there in white. That's what sold me on the car. What's kind of crazy now is we've been searching for these parts for so many years as collectors, and now you go on eBay and there's all kinds of chassis, brand new gold pan chassis, A-stamp chassis that are available, and it's like, you know, is this original stuff? Is it original? Hey James, is this original stuff that's for sale now that people have just had in their closets and they were just hoping to cash in on, or is Associated making gold pan chassis A-stamps again? You know, I just don't know. I would say that if Associated really wanted to cash in some money, if they did the original powder-coated chassis again, the lime green, the fluorescent pink, the fluorescent yellow, I can't remember what other colors they did, but back in the day they offered the chassis nose plate in powder coated, not anodized, fluorescent colors as separate hop-ups. If they do that instead of this Irish green thing that they're selling, I would buy every color they make, and I bet a lot of other people would as well. Because you don't have to buy a complete kit. Now, I would probably buy another car for every chassis color that I bought, because that's kind of how I am. I would have them all displayed. Each color, excuse me, my nose is like itching like crazy. Each color would be set on a shelf, and it would be a complete car. If you want my money, Associated, do that. Don't just keep pitching out YZ10s that are a different decal package. I'm not going to bite on that, and I don't think anyone else is either. 2024 has about 30 days left in it, so stop putting 40th anniversary and 60th anniversary on all the boxes. They're not celebrating the anniversary, it's just a and that's fine. We're fine with it. We're not buying them anymore just because they're an anniversary kit. To celebrate an anniversary and to celebrate it with 10 different kits, to me, is just garbage. Tamiya does one anniversary kit. It's always a Porsche. But at least you know that that's the only one you're getting out of them to celebrate that anniversary. At least in the past. Kyosho did 3/60ths. Associated did 8 to 10 40th/60ths. Tamiya's 50th is coming up. Hopefully it's a single unit. And that's the end of it. So yeah, I apologize about the rant. The part about the YouTube payments and what people make, again, I'm not trying to be controversial. I think that the creators, we all kind of watch the same creators, and I think they work exceptionally hard for what they get paid. The reason that they're doing raffles and everything else is just to try to, listen, nobody's getting rich off this. There's very few people that are buying airplanes because they did a bunch of RC videos on YouTube. Very, very small number. Most people are literally just trying to recoup what they have into it, or they accept the fact that it's an expensive hobby. They're all on YouTube because they're passionate about the hobby that they're doing. So that's it. That's it for the video. So I apologize for the rant on Associated. Again, no disrespect to any of my fellow creators. I love you all. Hope you guys enjoyed the stuff. And that's going to do it. If you're not already a subscriber, I'd ask you to consider subscribing to support the channel. Let me know in the comments what you think of the stuff. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Should I put it in the plasma? Leave it in the comments. Till next time, we'll see you soon. Thanks.